Sebass, good to meet you.
Let's see you.
Well, I know you. So, like, here, let's have a drink. Oh, there you go.
Thank you.
Okay, it's good to see you, brother. Cheers.
Cheers.
First podcast.
First
Where's
podcast.
America? So, this is exciting.
Glad to be here.
Well, let's start with, who are you? Introduce yourself here.
So my name is Sebastian Argo. I'm from Ecuador.
Yeah.
Raised and born in Guayaquil. And I had a beach house here in Olon.
Yeah.
That my dad had it since I was born. So I'll come here to the beach in Olon every vacation time.
Yeah.
For like 3 months. And then
Sick.
every weekends we'll be here. So I kind of grew up between the beach and the city.
Was there a lot of surfing going on here, or was it just kind of just you and the boys and a couple of Ecuadorian families?
It was just me and like my friends and a couple of Ecuadorian families that we have house that we're from Guayaquil, so
Yeah.
we had houses here. And then the local people, the town was very small, and there was a couple of surfers where surfing was just starting around the area. Like people didn't have too much surfers at that time.
Yeah.
So
You obviously you're Ecuadorian. You were born in Guayaquil, and then you'd come to Olon to do your surfing, hang out with the boys. So where have you traveled to? What kind of areas have you experienced? And because you always come back here, right?
Yeah.
You always come back
I
here,
always
and you've
like
been to
to
so
be
many
back.
places.
this is such a unique place that I have it in my heart, and
Yeah.
I love it. It's such an amazing
It is,
Yeah.
and that's where we met.
Yeah.
So I was 25. You were like 22 or 23.
Yeah. I was like 23 at that point.
Yeah, and
It was pretty fun times.
it was. So we met, and I met in Montanita, and we had like a surf crew, right?
Yeah.
And we basically at that age, you were just getting fucked up. But then as we kind of like got older, you traveled more, right?
Yeah, so when I was 24, I started working in IT.
Okay.
We were building web pages at the time.
Okay.
I started a small company with a friend.
Right.
And then we hired people from Venezuela to make our web pages.
Really?
And Venezuela was getting super bad at that time.
Yeah, it was getting fucked up.
So we couldn't send them money anymore. We couldn't pay them in dollars. But we'll charge here for a web page like $1,000, $800, and they will charge us like $100.
So when you did that, did you do web pages for like an Ecuadorian, or did
Yeah,
you do
for
it
Ecuadorian businesses that
Okay.
they need like to start putting a web page online.
Did you like do the groundwork? Did you go up to the company and say, "Hey, like, I'm making web pages. Do you want me to make a web page?"
Yeah, with friends and family and like a couple businesses that I knew. With Paco, somebody I know,
Yeah.
he put me in a couple companies to
Make
make
a couple
them
of contacts.
web pages, or with contacts we did
Okay.
that, and we'll hire Venezuelan programmers.
Yeah.
So we'll be hanging out in the beach, and our Venezuelan programmers will be doing everything.
Yeah.
And we will just charge here like $800, and they will charge us $200. So we
you're
will have
making-
like $600 profit, and we're just checking that what they do was good. But then we started having an issue, like we couldn't send them money anymore
Because their banks were fucked.
because their banks and all the thing was getting fucked in Venezuela. So they told us like, pay us in bitcoins. I'm like, what is that? Bitcoins. So start like looking around what is bitcoins.
What's a Bitcoin?
And how I get bitcoins. So I tried to buy them. I got screwed over a lot of times.
Okay.
Until I find like a good Bitcoin dealer that I could go pay him like $500, and he will send me $500 in bitcoins.
So that was just the start of basically crypto then. You were
Yeah.
just at the beginning,
That was the beginning of crypto.
and you were trying to figure out the Bitcoin. So, okay. So when you got into the Bitcoin realm of crypto,
Yeah.
what was a Bitcoin worth at the time? This is actually pretty fucking interesting because it's such a big player now.
Yeah, Bitcoin at that time was between $100 and $300.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So you would get 2 coins and you'd send it to your homies.
Yeah.
and then they kept.
They will do the web page. I will charge $1, sell it, and then we will have these transactions all over and over again.
Okay, this fascinates me. So, how old were you when you started doing the websites designs?
So we started doing the websites design when I was like 21.
Okay, and then so it's pretty interesting that a 21-year-old is fucking starting to hustle. Right? So, what got you into the hustling game? You know?
Well, I was studying mechanical engineering.
Okay.
I didn't finish it.
I know that. You were fucking here all the time surfing with me.
Yeah.
You were a terrible student.
So yeah, I was about to finish it. I had like 1 more year to go.
Right.
But then I had to start doing like going to work.
Okay.
So I working hours so I can graduate. So I start going to work in this company of transformers. They'll do the electric transformers. Like
Really?
those big things.
Okay.
So I was working there, like a mechanical engineering, like designing the inside parts, like how to put them.
Yeah.
And the chief boss of mechanical engineer of the company told me like, oh, mechanical engineer is just the hardest career, and it's just like shittiest paid.
You're just like, fuck.
So
this.
I was like, so fuck this. Like, I want free time. I hate what I'm doing. Like, I have to work here Saturdays.
Okay.
And I want to go to the beach. I don't want to be here. So
No.
I also
terrible.
work in the concrete company of my uncle.
Yeah.
And I had to work until like 10 p.m. sometimes, like Saturdays also. So I was like, this is no life. Like,
This
I
is
wanna,
no life. Okay.
Oh, I prefer to be a fisherman and be in the beach and have my free time
Yeah, man.
than like being working here. So I have to figure something out.
Okay.
So that's how I started the web page thing. So I could be in the beach and
Right.
I could just be in my computer, sending them to do the job, and then
Yeah, because then basically you can just work from the
Right.
beach. You do your 3 or 4 hours, and then you can just do your thing.
I can do my thing.
So, young age, you
Yeah.
already were thinking mobile.
Yeah.
Mobile.
So how I can go mobile and like not be dependent on like a job.
Yeah.
8 hours a day.
That is wicked.
So I got into Bitcoin and I bought Bitcoin, and unfortunately I actually didn't stay with much Bitcoins. I think I was like, okay, I will store 1 Bitcoin. At that time I had this exchange called Poloniex
Okay.
that is out of circulation now, but so I stored my Bitcoin there. But what I actually got a lot was Ethereum. So
Okay.
I started reading about crypto and I saw Ethereum and I was like, oh, Ethereum looks like I have a bigger potential than Bitcoin, because at that age I saw Bitcoin, I was like, it's actually used for like so many illegal things in the web, like to buy drugs and like
Right.
there was a lot of news of that. So I was like, I don't know, I trust this new method of payment and I love it.
Okay.
So I started researching about it, and then I got into Ethereum, and Ethereum was like just a start thing. You could like build apps in the platform that
Or
we're
that
building.
platform, right?
Like you can make smart contracts like we know now, but at that time they were just talking about all this technology that was coming to life. I was like, wow, I really like this. So
Okay.
I actually bought like, I didn't have that much money at the time, but I was like, I'll put $2,000 into Ethereum.
Right.
And I just bought like 2,000 tokens of Ethereum at that
Boom.
time.
So, before we go any further, do you want to give a quick rundown for people that don't know what crypto is and what it means? Because it's quite interesting, and then it gets a lot of news, and it's down right now, but it's going to be probably coming back up because it's kind of the future.
Yeah.
Can you give like, let's say, a 30-second rundown of what the Bitcoin and the crypto world is?
So it's like, now it's called Web3.
Web3.
So it's a new way of, let's say, like most of us don't know how internet works, but
Right.
we all use
All the time.
all the time.
No
but,
fucking clue.
but like nobody have a clue how it works.
Sports and porn.
So I
How to make
feel
food.
blockchain technology is like up there as like the internet technology when it was first put it.
100%.
And now it's difficult to understand, but I feel it's going to be one of the biggest problems of humanity is like trust.
Trust is the biggest problem.
Trust is the probably the biggest,
especially in Ecuador.
the biggest problem of humanity.
It is.
How I can trust in somebody that I just met. And through internet, it's like way more difficult. So if you are not even seeing it, that person in person, to like kind of see if you're saying the truth or not. So like trust is the biggest problem of the internet. So with blockchain, we're going to solve this. We're going to have these wallets that actually the blockchain will be in the middle, like now what PayPal does, or what Amazon does, or what Google does. But what blockchain is going to do is just not going to take out that middleman. That is, in this case, PayPal. That is the one that says like a transaction is trusted, worth it.
Right, because PayPal.
So now the blockchain technology will be there and it's decentralized. So it's not like a centralized place,
not a
centralized company that is taking care of the transaction.
It's everyone is now taking.
Everybody, I can do a transaction peer to peer with you, and there won't be that middleman. That middleman will be replaced for the blockchain technology. So we could have a peer-to-peer transaction with no intermediaries. And like if we take out the intermediaries, that means like we're taking out all what the intermediaries do now is take all the information of us. And like then they use that information to sell us things. And like information is one of the most
important thing. It's the age of information.
So it's the age of information. So
so that's basically what blockchain is there to do.
Okay. So blockchain is basically a bunch of little individual units that make a collaborative big unit, and they all basically, it removes the centralized version, and it is a dispersed unit of people who believe in that certain blockchain. Correct. Okay. I'll make a little diagram for this so people can understand the difference.
The difference
between blockchain and this.
Okay,
so you started to dabble in that, and then basically you started doing some traveling, right?
So then the first crypto run, Ethereum got to like $1,000, and like.
And what did you buy it at?
About $1.
Oh my God!
I was like
22, 23 years, and like this thing was just like going up, and I was like, everybody at that point, I told my parents like, hey, invest in this, and they were like, no, that's a scam. Like, that's a scam.
Right.
And then the first bull run comes, and CNN, all the news are just like crypto, Bitcoin, crazy, like going up so much. And I was like, oh wow, this is crazy. Like, and people wanted to buy it, so I was like, okay, I will sell it if everybody's going to that. That's something I learned there. When everybody's going to something, I would have to go to the opposite direction. When I was going, nobody wanted to come. Now everybody's coming. I will just go in the opposite direction. So I just start selling little by little, and I sold in $100, $80, $300, $400, $500, $600
over a course of like 6 months?
Course of like 8 months, a year, and then I stay with a little bit, and then I just have all this amazing capital that I was like, wow, I'm 23, almost 24 years old. What I will do with this? So I just came to Montañita and started partying.
Right. So that was when you were skipping school and shit. You were a terrible student.
I was like, okay, like
you were always here.
I could be here at that moment,
man. And that's when I first met you. So I met you right when you figured out, or you made your first bull run.
It was my first bull run with crypto, and I was like, okay, like, should I go to school? Should I skip it? So I was just partying. 23 years old, 24 years old. I just want to party. Like, okay, let's go, girls, find girls. Like,
girls are great.
Get wasted. I'll come to Montañita and have so much fun. But then, when I was 25, I started a business with a friend here, a Spanish school. We opened a Spanish school.
That was with Wes.
Yeah, with Wes, my friend from Hawaii. So we opened a Spanish school and surfing, and like, it was just having fun there. And then he went back, my friend Wes went back to Hawaii, and he was like, just come visit me whenever you want. So I was like, okay, I think it's time to like get out of Montañita. It was like 2 years in a row with partying and just being hanging here. So I was I need a reset.
Ever leave Ecuador, or you were mostly just in Ecuador at that time?
At that time, I was just in Ecuador.
That was your only place you ever been?
No. I have been in the States and Europe, but not by myself.
Right.
Always like family trip.
Yeah.
So it was not like actual travel. And then I actually went to the Galapagos for the first time.
Okay.
So I went with a bunch of friends. At that time, I was with a Canadian girlfriend.
Where are you?
So
Really?
she came to Galapagos and like we had an amazing
You're
time.
fucking my women.
We were like for 20 days and a bunch of friends surfing. It was fantastic. It was just like mind blowing. Just watching all the animals.
Just like
Yeah, give me a rundown of what they like, because Ecuador actually did a fucking amazing job with the Galapagos.
oh yeah.
So
When I go there, if
Like in a different country.
yeah,
And it's actually cheap to go. It's not too expensive. If you know how to plan good, you don't have to go in these luxury boats and things. Like you can go to hotels in the islands and like you can rent a house. Like what we usually do is we rent a house with friends and then we take bags with food and we can stay for like 20 days.
sick.
And it's just the most beautiful place. Like animals everywhere.
Yeah, the
It's
animals have
like-
the rights, right?
You see the sea lions walking on the streets. Like it's their island. It's not ours. Like,
Exactly.
It's their territory, and like we are just there.
You're the guest.
yeah, we're the guests
Yeah.
for them. Like, they just
Because you even touch the animals, right? If I remember correctly, if you touch the animals, you go to jail.
yeah, you cannot touch
Yeah.
any of the animals. You can just watch them like they are like
Like if a seal wants to go on your place on the beach,
Yeah.
you have to move.
yeah.
Money.
Yeah.
Money. Amazing. You went to Galapagos and then you had your crew.
Yeah, I had my crew, and then I had such an amazing surfing. It was like a mind blowing experience. So I came back to mainland. I was like, what I'm doing with my life. So I started like asking me all these questions of like, okay, like I'm grateful for all this success that I had with crypto, but like, what's next? Like, I don't want to just be drunk and get wasted.
This was at
Galapagos
25.
was kind of
Okay.
an awakening moment of my life, and then I decided to go to Hawaii. So I went to visit my friend to Hawaii, and then we went to Hong Kong. I traveled Asia. I was in Hong Kong for a while. I went to Vietnam. I went to Malaysia.
So how long was this trip?
Japan.
How long did this trip
So in total, I had this trip for like 2 years. Just going to Bali and Asia and Hawaii. I went to Canada also. After that, I went to Bali before coming back, and then I did this bamboo course. I went to do an architect bamboo course. Was the best course I have done in my life. A really amazing workshop in bamboo.
Really?
Yeah, it was mind blowing.
Okay.
All the people I met was actually the first time I went to a workshop. I was like, wow, I really learned something, and all the people I met was really interesting people.
Okay. And how long? So, what's a bamboo class? Like, what are you making? You're making buildings with bamboo, or
Yeah, we're making like
Houses completely just made out of bamboo, mind blowing.
really?
Yeah, these black bamboo houses, like just
What I'm gonna do there,
Amazing.
Seabass, is you're gonna show me that course, and I'll get that course to make some pictures. You did your traveling, and then it's funny because we kind of have the same trajectory. Because next time I saw you, I was like 27 or 28, and came up to you. And I was like, "Hey, man, I've been reading books." You're just like, "Books? I've been reading books." And the funny thing is, we're reading the same fucking books.
Yeah.
And it was so cool because you got into meditation, you got into some philosophies. You know, you started to take off. You started making some businesses, more businesses, and yeah. So, and would you say like that kind of happened because you obviously when traveling, you got a different perspective, or what kind of put you into sharpening your skill set towards creating business and hustling?
Yeah, I think when I went to Hawaii the first time, and all the people I met was so smart, and they were just reading the whole time. So I was like, oh, I think I should start learning about more things. So I will go on hikes and always have an audiobook, start listening about philosophy, podcasts,
Yeah.
about X amount of things, like everything. So I started learning a lot and then having conversations with my friends in Hawaii there. And then I think interesting point was when I was already coming back to Ecuador. So I was in Hawaii and we were going to do a road trip from San Diego to Panama. So I was coming back home, but I was going to drive for like 4 or 5 months.
From
Really?
San Diego to Panama.
Sick.
So
And that was with a friend or you alone?
I was with my friend was from Hawaii and another friend from Hawaii. It was 2 friends from Hawaii and me.
And this was, what was the purpose of it? Just
surfing.
Surfing.
We were going to surf all the Pacific coast, so Central America, Mexico,
Amazing.
Baja California was just mind-blowing trip, experience of life. But before we started, like the night before, I was in the hotel in San Diego, and a friend of mine brings me a small chocolate, and I was like, oh, nice. I just eat it, and was like, this crazy chocolate called Chiba Chew was like edible with weed, and
Okay.
I just had a mind-blowing experience. It was like kind of, I have never done ayahuasca, but what people that have done ayahuasca tell me that's exactly what I experienced with this edible
Chocolate.
What was that?
So I have a
retro of my life.
Okay.
I came back to like the womb of my mother, and I could hear her heart beating, and like it was just like this change of events coming back to my memory that I completely forgot of life.
You did the chapachuja, the wheat chocolate,
yeah.
and now you're back in the mom's womb.
I'm
Back in my mom's womb,
Okay.
hearing her heart and like just being like this thing inside her, and like then all these memories and pictures just start coming together, kind of like small pictures of events that I completely forgot about, and like each picture was connected to a chain, so it was like a chain of events of different pictures that was connecting, and each event, because I did this happened, so it was like action and reaction, action and reaction, action and reaction, every event, so it was connecting for like 2 hours, like things in
Really?
my brain of like boom, 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 until like I just like go back to my body. I was like, shit.
So you had the out of body fucking cosmos experience.
yeah. It was
It's insane. So I get back to my body, and all the questions I had was like, so why I'm here? What is the reason of life? Just asking me all these questions and asking to my friends that were there super worried and scared about me if I was going to be normal again.
You're the
I
lawnmower
was
man.
like gone completely, so they were super worried. I was just yelling and asking these questions. Like, oh, what I can see was black and just like a white light, and I was just like, so what's the meaning of life? Why I'm here? What's the purpose? Like all these asking me all these questions, and then so that's how my road trip started. And we started driving back to Baja California. I was still high for like 2 or 3 more days. And I was like,
Really?
wow, like what's going on? I will be like this like for the rest of my life, or
Fuck.
I will come back.
3 days?
Yeah.
That's a long time.
It was a long
That's hard on the brain. You're just
So-
like, I want to be sober
yeah,
again.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I've been there, man.
It's
pretty bad.
It's not an enjoyable thing. Like, it's, you know what I enjoy about it? It taxes the mind, right? So you can only, recreate if you destroy yourself.
Yeah.
And I've gone to extents to that, but you're just like, oh my God, am I ever going to get out of this? And then when you finally do, you're just like, okay, like, I destroyed it, now let's see what else I can rebuild.
Yeah.
So that's kind of along the lines of what kind of happened then.
exactly.
So 3 days later, you're fucking finally come back to reality. You're sober.
Come back to reality, sober up. I was in the desert in Baja California
Okay.
with the best epic waves ever. So came back and let's go straight surfing. We had like the best time ever. Just surfing the whole Central American coast, Mexico, Baja.
The best.
It was just a really amazing experience. I met a lot of cool people, interchain ideas. We had books in our car, so we were reading the whole time. I was just playing chess, reading, and surfing. That was the whole.
Question here. So obviously you have I have a couple of philosophers I love and a lot of things that I really enjoy. But who is one of the philosophers or books you read or people in history that it's kind of almost like a role model? Like you have one that you're just like, man, you read his work and it just fucking hammered into your soul. Like this guy is thinking my thoughts, you know, and you put them on paper. Was there a certain philosopher or a
I really like Camus a lot.
Camus?
Yeah.
Okay, who's Camus?
So he's a philosopher that talks about existentialism.
Nietzsche. Fucking right.
And
Okay, go on.
And Nietzsche also. So yeah. So about all the existentialism, like
Be the best you can
be
be.
the best you can be. Where are you here? Also.
Right.
And the book that I told you to read.
48 Laws of Power.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing.
So,
Anyone read that book?
think 48 Laws of Power was one
If you want to lose half your
Super
friends, you read that book.
super interesting book to have it there.
Yeah.
And then my favorite book actually is
The Alchemist.
Oh my god, that is such a good book.
I read it 4 times, and like for me, The Alchemist is just like
Right? Your
a
purpose.
role model book of life. Like
It's incredible.
maybe if you're lost, like you can actually go back to it and be like, okay, like,
What I'll do is I'll make sure it's there because it's actually such an incredible book.
yeah.
It is amazing.
So yeah,
So then you got back because I know that's when I saw you, and then you started hustling. You went into.
I did a lot of meditation, like
Yeah.
Wim Hof. Like that was one of the things that you came about. Oh, I have heard about Wim Hof. I'm
Yeah,
like,
man.
oh yeah, I also do it.
It's badass, man.
Start doing meditations, breathing exercise, and all these things just put together a lot of my life purpose.
Yeah, it's good. It's good
And
habits and building blocks. You
Yeah.
know.
yeah.
Okay, so now
A lot of tools
a lot of tools.
to have.
Okay, so then you got back, and you know, going into different sections like of business, right?
Yeah.
You had your crypto, you had a couple other things you started to hustle. Can you tell us about some of your businesses that you're doing, like some of the?
Yeah. So I had all these profits that I have done from crypto, and then I started investing in crypto.
Right.
And one of my friends from Hawaii was starting like this new blockchain company in California, Silicon Valley.
Okay.
And he came to me, oh, I'm going to start this. So I went to seed investment with him, and I started to be part of that. You have to start running nodes and like actually learning more about blockchain and crypto, not just like, oh, I have money, I will invest it, how I did the first time. So it was more like, oh, you want to invest here, if you want to get involved, you have to learn how to have a server running, how to have like a node running, how to create a validator. This was already changing from proof of work to proof of stake, the blockchain.
Right. Was that for the Ethereum?
No,
Or is it
this
a
was
whole other
called.
blockchain?
It's a whole nother blockchain. It's called Harmony One.
Harmony One. Okay.
Yeah, so I got into like seed. I bought in like less than cents, and I was running nodes for like 3 years with them, and then in this last bull run, it also exploded to like 30 cents.
Right.
So I was there from the beginning, so I did a lot of profit also now with this one.
Right.
And well, I started putting all my money, and like I was trying to find where can I put it in things that I don't have to have a lot of time in there.
And that are real.
And that are real.
Right.
Yeah. So
Like, and by that I mean, a house is real.
yeah,
Crypto is thin air. It's something.
Yeah.
But a house is real and it solves, you know, shelter, the human basics, which
Exactly.
food is another one, you know, transportation is another one. Those are things where they're never going to go out of style.
Yeah.
Right.
So actually, when I have to keep going with the travels because
Okay, let's go back there.
I came back to Ecuador, and then I met a friend in Bali that invited me to go sail in the Caribbean.
Okay.
He was a German, super crazy guy, and he gave me some really crazy ideas also about the war, and like
Okay.
he had all these crazy ideas of how you can build a city underwater or like have a floating city in the ocean. So we sailed.
So
the
how would you
Caribbean
build a
with him.
building sitting under the ocean?
There is this technique that you can build coral reef
Okay.
from structures out of metal. So you build these structures out of metals, and you can actually build an artificial island in some places in the Caribbean with coral reef. So you rebuild the coral reef that we're destroying, and like has like a small house underwater that you have like LED lights underneath, and you can like see all the coral reef shining
Really?
in front of you. So like he is actually doing these things in Mexico. He's trying to develop all these ideas there. Like he has investors, and like
He's working there.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. So
this was kind of like the end of my travels with this
Okay.
Caribbean thing. And then I started during all these travels. Like I had also friends in Ecuador that were telling me like about different businesses. So I started investing in like buying and selling cars. Some of the things that I don't like, but like they were producing me money. So I
Right.
gave him like, okay, here is this money. I want it to work, and he will be like finding good offers of cars,
Right.
and then buying them, and then stay the car a month to sell it in like a better price than we buy it. So
So
that was
flipping,
one of
flipping cars.
flipping cars was one of the easiest and fastest way of like moving my cash that I had at the moment.
And so because you had a surplus of capital, people came
Yeah.
up to you like, hey, I have an idea.
exactly.
Can you fund this? We'll go 50-50. I'll run this, and then I take half the cost.
Exactly.
And
So
you take half.
and you take So
Okay.
exactly, that's how.
Things were working, and a lot of people came with me with ideas, and like I'll just do investments. And
Did most of them work out? Because like here, this is what interests me. Because like you said, the biggest problem with the human species is honesty and trust, right? So here you are. Let's say you're getting peppered with five people with 5 ideas.
Yeah.
How do you whittle down who's a fucking shithead and who's going to be someone that, hey man, this guy, I know he's not going to fuck me. He's honest. We can work together. So did you ever have problems where people took advantage of your, I guess, honesty or niceness, and the ones that didn't, how did you pick the right ones? Because obviously this is the biggest problem on the human
I
planet.
actually think that's like something that I have. Like I really know how to pick the right people.
Right.
Like I'm a
So a sixth sense almost.
It's like, yeah, I don't know. It's like I'm super close to people. When I have to talk to somebody, I will go and talk. And I don't know why at that moment, but then always things just happens.
Yeah.
So I think I have been super lucky business-wise in this sense. Like always when I did investments in business has been like nobody wants to rip me off.
Yeah.
But I had really bad experience in the sense of like lending money to people. Like friends would come, oh, I need $2,000, like
Blah blah blah.
for this thing. I will be like, okay, I can give you like, you just pay me back my $2,000 when you want to pay me back, and he will be like, 6 months. 6 months will pass, and then like nothing will come up. So I got rid of like lending money more than like actually like
So
investing
businesses,
in like businesses.
Right.
So I didn't have problems with that.
and I guess you get to find out the character. Like that's the one thing I like about giving money away, is you get to find the character of the man.
Yeah.
Right. And if a guy lend him $2,000 and you get $2,000 back, you know this guy has value.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, okay, this guy he's a man of his word. That has so much value. And if like he doesn't, you just know, okay, he's cut off.
So it's cut off.
No, it's good to see you, buddy. Hey man, whatever. But
Exactly.
and then
So
you just remove them from anything that
from
has
anything that can happen
Right.
after. So it's just
You build the trust like that. So I have a lot of friends that they ask me for $500, and then they don't give the face anymore, and you're like, dude, like.
okay. I don't care about the.
Yeah, I just
500,
saw you
it's,
drinking with your buddies.
So,
there, you
okay,
fucking
whatever,
bastard.
you know. Still friends, but. And then I also invest in like shrimp transport boat. So I
Yeah.
had a small boat that pick shrimps from the farms in the islands,
Okay.
and then bring it to the factories in Duran and Guayaquil. So it's just all around.
Along the river.
This is interesting. So you bought a boat.
Yeah.
And then you would go to, there's an island that makes shrimp here.
Yeah. It's called Puran.
And then you take the thing over there.
Yeah.
Fill this boat full of shrimp.
Yeah.
And you drive it back.
Drive it back.
Is it still rolling right now?
Yes, it's still working.
Still working.
Yeah.
How much does a boat cost?
That boat, I think in total was spent like $200,000.
Oh.
Between
And then
a couple of friends.
Oh, with a couple of buddies.
Yeah.
So you all get a cut. So
We
everyone
all
put
got
50
a car.
grand or whatever.
Yeah. So we all got to get a car.
Correct. And then all everyone's still involved in that,
Everybody's
and everyone's just getting a little piece.
everybody just getting their little piece.
So you got your fingers in a lot of pies. It seems like.
Yeah.
And I think this is what, and I'm guilty of this as well. You obviously trusted people. So you have a finger in a shrimp boat. You have a finger in a crypto boat. You got a finger in a website boat. I mean, a website building thing. And basically, you have to trust people.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you have to do. You could get fucked.
Yeah.
Right? You could.
I could get fucked, but I think one of the things that has worked a lot with me is that I think a lot of people get fucked because they don't appreciate what somebody's doing for you.
Right. So
you
have value.
Actually, a lot of people like try to exploit somebody and take the most they can from the person. So that's when you actually get fucked.
Yeah.
Because that person is like, oh, I'm doing so much for you, and you're just like not valuing what I'm doing for you.
You're taking advantage.
You're taking advantage. So people start thinking like, oh, you're taking advantage of me. So one of the things that I learned that when I was young, so I was like, you actually have to appreciate people. You have to know the value that they can give you, and they give you by doing whatever that they are working for you or what they are doing. So I was never like ambitious in the terms of like, oh, like, yeah, let's go 50-50, like you do all that, I won't do anything. So I will always like go to them and negotiate with them. So how much you think your work is worth? Like,
is it a
you
60-40?
It's a 60-40, it's a 70-30.
So
like
you constantly
tell me,
negotiate.
So I'm constantly negotiating and seeing that person is comfortable with the amount of money.
So you appreciate them.
So
I appreciate them, and like then they respect you because you're like somebody that is appreciating the work they're doing. Even though, oh yeah, I'm not doing like 50% of this business, and that person is doing more than me. Like there is a business I can go like 70-30. He's doing more.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of businesses that are giving me like 30%, 40%, 10%, 20% here. So when you get all these businesses that are working good because you're paying good to the person that's running it, then like you get a big profit. And those people are happy because they're getting a lot. And they work good for you and they don't try to fuck you over. Like they actually try to do it.
Making strong allies.
Try to do it good. Yeah.
Yeah, making strong allies.
So,
So yeah, it's, and I think that's what so many people forget is like, first of all, give people respect, and then in giving, you know, say, hey man, like here's an opportunity, I got the money, you do this, what do you think you're worth, blah blah blah, and then giving that person the respect for what he's doing, you know.
Yeah.
When you're like, hey, you're lucky you have me.
Yeah.
You know, that's a taking attitude.
Exactly.
And then the majority of the world are consumers, takers, right? And there's very few that give. And I feel like that's the whole point of life. It's like it's to make money, and then you make things and you give, right?
So I feel like that has been the key of everything working and not like getting ripped off in any kind of businesses because they're happy. They're doing a lot of money, and like I put the idea, I put the money, and like they run it, and like I get something super valuable. My time. Yeah. The only value thing that we have in this world is just our time. Like our time is limited. So
that's
if I can make happy somebody, and like I know he is doing good because I'm paying him fairly for what he's doing, and he's telling me what is fair. I'm not imposing him something.
No.
And then I know he's doing it a great job, and then I get my free time to do with my time what I want to do.
And another thing too about that is like when you give that person his creative freedom too. It's like you're not micromanaging him. You're not taking away his vision of the business, right? So you're like, hey, you're running this. You're complete freedom to do whatever you want, unless we lose money. Then I might say, hey, man, there's something wrong here.
Yeah.
But you have, it's going to be done your way. Because that's the thing I found. I'm from Canada, and we have a very top-down heavy system where you kind of lose your creative thing because we have systems in place, and they're really well-run systems, but you lose that creativeness about you, right? It's like this is McDonald's. Everything is planned for you.
Yeah.
You know, but when you have your own business, you get to do like, hey, I think this is going to be a good deal. I'm going to work with this and blah, blah, blah. And that's how you learn, right? Because you have those instances. And I think that's what's so great and why people try so much harder is because, hey, these are my ideas. I'm going to do a car company the way I want to do a car company.
Yeah.
And as long as the numbers are there, then, hey, man, like things are rolling. We're a profitable thing. Yeah, so that's a good thing. So another thing, okay, the main thing is about this whole beach life is owning your time. Like this is like something that I'm obsessed about, like that, and completely obsessed about because all I want to do is what I want to do.
Yeah.
So like if I want to draw, I want to draw. If I want to build a house, I want to build a house. If I want to work out, I want to work out. I don't want to be like, hey, you're waking up at 8 to go to this job I don't want to do. This is the main thing that perplexes me. Like people, like I worked in oil and gas. And the reason why I did that was to make as much money as I could to get the fuck out of oil and gas, to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
And that ended me up in Ecuador, right? So you clearly had this at the age of like you've gone to college.
Yeah.
And now that you basically own your time, you're not sitting and just lollygagging or just surfing. Like you actually are doing some amazing stuff. So what do you do now that you own your time?
Yeah, so that's a really good question, what I'm doing now. So a lot of people in my position will be probably bored and they don't know what to do with their time.
I don't know, because like, people in your position love the game.
Yeah.
And I think when you love the game, all you do is you enhance your position. Because the people that don't love the game, who are just like, yeah, man, this is just how it is, they're stuck in it because of that attitude.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, I understand there's the game to be played. It's the human game.
Yeah.
And the game is to own your time and do whatever the fuck you want. And when you start doing what you want, you get really good at it because you like it.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So here you are. You bought your time at 22 or 25. I mean, I think
25.
25, let's say. And now you get to do exactly what you want. And I'm telling you, like, your day is up at 8 and you're going to bed at 6 or, well, I mean, you're finishing at 7.
Yeah.
Right? So
I'm busy pretty much the whole day.
Yeah, and you're fucking making things happen, and it's fun.
Yeah.
You know?
I love it.
It's fucking badass. So let's go. You own your own time. What are you doing? Let's start with, like, what's your goal that you have your time
So when I
was in Bali also, I met this guy from Brazil.
Okay.
That was doing a workshop of like syntropic farming and agroforestry. I was like, what is that? So I grew up in my family. My grandmother had like rice fields, and I will go to her farm all the time. And I would love to drive the trucks in the rice fields and like play around. It was like a playground for me. So I like agriculture since I was a kid.
Okay.
And that's one of the things I remember when I had the ewhat experience.
Really?
Yeah. So then I met this guy. This was up before. I met the guy in Bali, and then I had the ewhat experience with that. And then I was in Ecuador, and I was like, after the Caribbean, I was like, he texted me, and he's like, oh, there's going to be the first workshop in English in Costa Rica of syntropic farming. So I have a small conversation with him in Bali, and I was like, whenever you do it in English, because they were in Portuguese, whenever there is an English workshop, let me know. So he texted me, and there was going to be one in Costa Rica. So booked my flight to Costa Rica, went to the workshop in Costa Rica, spent 2 weeks in Costa Rica learning some amazing things. There was like people from the Zamorano University and like the best agricultural universities, and they were mind-blowing for what these Brazilian people were saying. And they had this research of like how agroforestry and actually working with nature, like doing what the forests do.
Okay, so agroforestry is like working with the forest.
It's working with the forest. It's working with nature. It's like
building your food with the forest. Like we don't need to deforest to like grow something.
we
So
can
combining
like
it.
We can combine it and we can grow food in the forest. So that was actually what people a long time ago was doing in the
Indians,
Amazon.
the natives.
So when the Spanish actually came to America, they were like, one of the letters they sent to the king is like, these people is so weird, they don't have farms. They just stop in the forest and eat whatever they find in the forest. So that was one of the letters, the first letter the conquistador from the Spanish sent to the king. They were like crazy because in Europe they have all these huge
we
farms.
monetize it.
And
Monopolize
monetize
it. Yeah.
But actually in America they had food, but they were growing the food with the forest. They don't need it to like cut all the trees to make a farm.
Okay.
So as a way of like producing your food, but actually like, conserving nature. So that idea in me was like, this is amazing. I want to learn more about it.
Okay.
So I went to Costa Rica, did a workshop, and then I came back to Ecuador. I went to Brazil also to keep learning. And then I was like, okay, it's time for me to get a farm.
So
I
you
wanna
were
do-
like, this is what you're fascinated about.
Yeah.
Is the farming, agro farming.
Farming, so to like rebuild soil, rebuild life that we have been.
Fucking destroying.
fucking destroying.
Okay, so here now, let's build on this because so you got the agro farm. I know in Canada we have absolutely destroyed our soil. We have genetically engineered our wheat to be in this much soil, and we throw ammonia, and we're getting less yields, and throwing more fertilizer in there just because like soil's dead.
Yeah.
And I know there was I read about some stuff that if we could put life back into the soil,
Mm-hmm.
we could remove like 2/3 of the carbon in the world.
Yeah.
Right. So this is kind of the same thing you're talking about, right? We're going to stop destroying forests. We're going to introduce it being working as a unit.
Yeah.
Right. So how are we going to promote this to big capitalism? Like, what would be like a strategy to? Because this is actually an amazing thing, right? You're working with nature,
Yeah.
and then now you're getting results.
I think it's something that is inbuilt now, because the first people that started syntropic farming is a guy called Ernst Koch. He started in Brazil.
Okay.
So how they went on to talk to him, because there was a desert in Brazil, and they could see it every year with the satellite. And then after like 6-7 years, in the middle of the desert, there was like this huge green pack area. So the scientists were like, what the hell is happening there? So they all went to him and went like, hey bro, what are you doing here? Like, we have seen the satellite images of like
You're doing
this
something.
desert, and now it's green. Like, what's the thing that you're doing here? So he started explaining everything about what he's doing and how he is actually working with nature against nature instead of against nature. And like
Okay.
actually like building soil and like farming water and like all these crazy ideas. So people were like, oh, this is amazing, we should start doing it. And there has been already so many people doing it, and it's like amazing results. Like Ernst Koch produced the best cacao in the world. Like the bananas are humongous, but all what he has been doing is instead of killing the soil, just like putting more organic material and working with it and like building it.
Really?
So
That is
It's like-
badass.
Amazing.
If let's say you wanted to convince massive farms to do this, what would be the steps to make agro farming into, let's put it down into the prairies? Like, how would you incorporate grain in grasslands or jungle, like deforestation? How would you convince a corporation? Because that's the main problem. How do you say, hey, how do you make this profitable? How do you make this efficient? What would be your way to sell it? Because it has to be something that's sold, right? How do you say, hey, this is going to be better? It's obvious, like a carbon tax, I guess, would make them.
Carbon taxes that are starting to go, that's one way.
Yeah.
But I feel Ernst Gorge and all the team and all the people that is doing agroforestry now, that's the main thing that they're doing. Because one of the problems now is that there's no tools. So Ernst Gorge now, instead of like planting, he's building and engineering like new tools.
Really?
Because you cannot do this with the humongous tractors that we have. It's like mostly like man work. So
Really?
that's a lot of man work and super expensive. So one of the problems we have now is like we have to engineer new machinery for agriculture. New machinery for agriculture that doesn't destroy soil and that doesn't compact the soil and that are small and can do fast the work that now is like human labor.
Fuck.
So that's what Ernst got. It's like central now, and like that's what he's doing. And then there is this other guy called, his last name is Carlos Revelo.
Okay.
So he's working on like how we can do this with grains, also. How we can actually put a couple of trees, and like what's the best way of how we can do agroforestry, but also like have rice fields and like grains and all this. So he is working on this section.
That is.
So it's something that is just starting. Not just starting. It has been like
A process.
already years, but there is no recipe. We're all like learning. Yeah. We're all like studying and like to find the best solutions for the problem.
Badass. Okay.
So one of the things we're using now in the farm is like biochar. So like we have a lot of bamboo fields around our farm.
Okay.
So bamboo is like the best grass. It grows in 3 years and it gets a lot of carbon out. So every time you actually see something built out of bamboo, you can see a lot of carbon stored in that bamboo.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's like one of the most amazing grass ever. It just grows so big in 3 years, and then you can harvest, and you always need to harvest it. So what we're doing now is transforming all this bamboo that for now they're not selling it to build. We're transforming it into biochar, and like we're putting this biochar into the soil and like putting it with a lot of nutrients, a lot of water, so our plants have enough nutrients and water for time.
Can you break down biochar for me? Like, let's say I'm an infant. What's biochar? How is it going to help the world?
There was an article that came out in the Amazon of like terra preta. They found in the Amazon this black soil.
Right.
They were like, what is this? So one of the theories that there are now is like this was human-made. And they had actually humans that were living in the Amazon. They were like building the soil with biochar. So what is biochar is like, it's like charcoal, but it is made with a combustion without any oxygen.
Okay.
So you just like burn the material, the bamboo that we're using, or cocoa. We're using coconut shells and bamboo, but you just burn that without any oxygen.
And
so you just burn it with the heat.
How do you burn it with no oxygen?
With the heat. It just gets so hot outside, you have to make like this thing that we have like it's like one barrel, big barrel, and then in the middle we have another smaller barrel with lock.
The lock.
All what we want to do biochar is in the middle barrel.
Oh. And then the big barrel
has like all the wood that we're burning.
Burning.
But we're burning it with little oxygen, so it like combusts for a long time.
So you got one that's pure biocharged and one that's kind of biocharged.
Yeah.
So you're doing okay.
So you burn the one that is outside, and the one that is inside is burning because of the heat that it has outside.
Right. But you're not getting it.
But you're not burning it, so it doesn't have any oxygen inside. So it gets burned. It burns just with the heat, not with the flames.
Okay, so how much carbon is in a barrel? So like, let's say I'm a company that needs to reduce my carbon emission. How much carbon can you fucking store in a barrel? Like, I know
the way we're doing it now is just so small. Like the idea is to buy like a bigger machine and
like a kiln almost, right?
To put like completely bamboos inside, and then like we can like actually produce like a lot more, and like we can store a lot of more carbon.
What would you do? Like, so let's say you get your I'd say kiln. I don't know, a kiln, and then you fill your bamboo sticks in there. You get the carbon in the bamboo sticks. What do you do after with the bamboo sticks?
With the carbon?
With the carbon, yeah.
So with the biochar, we leave it soaking in water for like 20 days. And then we put like nutrients to the water. So we put like chicken manure, we put like calcium, magnesium, like all these nutrients in an organic way, and we leave it soaking there for like a month. So then after a month, we have like this super rich carbon with a lot of food and a lot of water. Because like one of those pieces can be super tiny, but if you go with a microscope and you see it, it has like so many small walls.
Well, the surface area.
Surface area is so big that when you unfollow a small piece, it can be as big as a soccer field.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Of course.
That's crazy.
So a small piece like this
No.
can store like the water of like the size of a soccer field.
Fuck off.
Yeah, because of all the small walls.
Man, you sound you're on like the Bacachula big chocolate. That's crazy.
Man. I'm not.
A fucking soccer field?
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons biochar is one of the 10 ways of changing the course of like global warming.
Right.
So it's one up there. It's like one amazing thing. And like they have done already experiments with these in plants that have had droughts for like 2 or 3 years. And all the plants that were without biochar died. But the ones that have the biochar with them survive.
So what, you mulch it up and then you throw it with like a compost?
Yeah.
You put it in the compost, and then when you're planting a tree, you just...
Because the carbon goes back on the soil.
Yeah.
That's where we want it.
Yeah.
That's fucking right.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of it...
So we put the carbon in the soil again, and we plant the tree with the carbon in there, with the biochar, and then it's like giving him like food and water storage for like a long time.
Money.
And then I got a farm close to the beach, so I can...
So you have a farm now?
Yeah. So I...
Really?
I bought a small farm where I'm doing all the biochar and like all these syntropic agroforestry farming. All organic, just like trying to do it, like all what I learned in Brazil and Portugal, putting in practice here. And now I found a really amazing teacher here in Ecuador that comes and check the farm once a month.
And who's he?
He is called Ernesto. He is almost 60 years old, but he looks like he's 40.
Really?
He do mountain biking, he surf, he is like badass, and like he met my teacher now, Ernesto, the one that gave me the workshop in Costa Rica, Ernesto Ravelo. Carlos Ravelo. He met him like 30 years ago in Peru. So he has been doing syntropic agroforestry farming here in Ecuador for like 30 years, and he has a lot of knowledge of the native plants, local plants that we can use, and he has the same concepts of all what I have learned in Costa Rica and Brazil. So he's super enthusiastic with me because I'm a young person like doing all what he has been trying to push out here, but little people just follow him.
Right.
And he goes to my farm. He's like, "This is amazing. You guys are doing such an amazing job." And like, come in and I can see all the advance that you path, like how you guys have been doing.
You know what? Like if you let me, like I would like to go to your farm one of these days, and we'll do another little video thing because your farm sounds badass, right?
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
you're
for
doing
sure.
the
We can-
biochar, and you're doing the
We can for sure go.
you're going with
I'm-
nature.
Yeah. So I bought this land that is. I got it because it was close to a river. I have a well already.
Okay.
I have electricity close, and it was a place that was deforested before because they wanted to plant bamboo, but a drought came and all the bamboo died. So it was just like kind of grass growing, and small native plants growing, but nothing like big trees like saman or cedro, laurel, all those big trees that we have here, because everything was deforested. So I'm trying to put back all these native tree
Okay.
back there and like just doing reforestation. Plus growing my food and growing vegetables and like
Right.
growing plantains, bananas, cassava,
And
maracuya, and all these other.
this is
Amazing things.
another big thing because again, I'm from Canada, and all our food is like again we have such amazing systems in place, but those systems we lose certain values. So like growing your own food clearly is better for you than artificially fertilized dead soil.
Yeah.
It creates a better food.
It
It makes the
does-
most sense. You know, food is food. It's solving a massive problem. We need to feed 8 billion people. But the goal now is to feed us better food because clearly we have a food problem because people, like just more than 50% of the population is overweight. And people are getting sick.
Yeah.
People are getting
Sure,
sick.
we're getting
Like
sick.
With all the food that we're eating, we're eating so many pesticides
and sugars and
sugars and like chemics. With all the food comes with so much chemics that we're just eating
chemicals.
chemicals.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
But yeah, that's another thing that's just it's getting out of proportion. Because you actually look at like a real bit of fruit or a real vegetable, they don't look perfect.
Yeah,
they're fucked up. They're little mutated things, and they got carbs. But like all our food in our supermarket is perfect. You know, it's pristine. So where does all the ones that don't look perfect go? It's probably I don't know where they go, but it's something that we're not capitalizing on the most fruit and vegetables to solve a hunger problem, and we're not getting the best nutrition out of that fruit and vegetable.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you're solving that problem by working, again, with nature.
Yeah.
Which is ideal.
Yeah.
Because it's there. It's just doing its thing.
It's just doing its thing.
Doing its thing.
One day, a really good friend that I met in Galapagos asked me one question. She was like,
What was that?
what's the purpose of humans in nature?
At the moment, it's to fuck it up. We're good at it, too. And no, the purpose of a human is to make sure that humans... We're pretty incredible. We are pretty incredible.
We're incredible.
We're the most incredible thing. Like, ants are pretty incredible. We are...
Yeah.
We do amazing
But
things.
what's the purpose of humans in nature? Birds go get a seed, get a fruit, poop, put a seed on the ground.
Right.
Cows do their things. Like all the animals have a purpose in nature to like mold nature. What's the purpose of human beings in nature?
That's a damn good question. What is it? What's your answer?
At that moment, I didn't have an answer.
Okay.
Now I can say one of the purpose of human beings can be to like speed up nature process.
Like make it evolve faster?
Make it
Evolve faster. It can be for bad
Ooh, that's pretty good.
or for good.
Right.
So the thing, what we're doing in the farm is trying to speed nature up processes. We're working with nature to speed up their processes. Things that are going to take 100 years, we try to make them take 1 or 2 or 3 years.
Fucking
So-
oh my god! You're
Yeah.
speeding up evolution, you son of a bitch!
exactly.
That is
Right.
fucking cool.
We're gonna speed it up for like
Bad, or we're gonna speed it up for good. So what we're trying to do, working with all these natural processes, is just like, okay, this is what nature does, but nature to make this is taking it like
40 years.
That's so fucking. That's a great
We-
mentality. That's
We
amazing.
can do this happen in like 1 year. Let's do it.
How do
Work
we
with
make
nature.
this wood break down
Faster.
faster to make more organic material?
Exactly.
How do we do this?
How do we do it?
That's fucking absolute fucking gold. That is money.
How nature works. A hurricane comes, throw out trees goes, decompose, and then you get organic material. But how you can work with nature, helping it to like sustain life and like make it faster. So when she asked me that question, I was like, well, this is such a damn good question. I don't have
It's
An
such a
answer.
fucking good question.
an answer for you.
That is
She
an
was like,
amazing
all
question.
Animals have a purpose in life. All of them.
You can.
Spiders get insects, like all of them have a purpose. Like, what is the purpose of human beings in nature?
Man, this is fucking. That is an absolutely amazing question. But I look at like the purpose. Like you just asked me that. Like the purpose of a human is the production of more humans. Because that's what we were amazing at that.
Yeah.
In 100 years, we went from less than 1 billion to 8 billion in 100 years. It's incredible. And not only did we do that, World War One, they had we solved the fertilizer problem, which was pretty. Well, actually, we did a bad thing and a good thing. So we had a fertilizer problem from that German scientist who made mustard gas.
Yeah.
Everything grew really well after they killed a bunch of humans. We killed 100,000 human beings, but saved billions, right? It's
Yeah.
pretty incredible. It's
It's,
amazing. A little bit of bad turned into a little bit of good, you know? A lot of good.
It's a cycle of life. Always it's just like
Up
up
and
and
up.
downs,
down.
up and downs.
But yeah, but you really, that actually blows my fucking mind, because that is clearly the answer. You speed up evolution. We can wipe up the whole planet, kill everything, and then it'll rebuild itself better,
Yeah.
probably. Because
Yeah.
obviously it did. The dinosaurs were less smart than us. Like, look at what we've made. We're fucking incredible. Human beings are incredible.
Yeah.
Like, Elon Musk took a rocket ship, put an electric car in it, and threw it into space. And went to Mars. This is incredible.
That's
It's fucking insane. But you're
Amazing.
absolutely fucking... And that's the evolution of life. Man, I never even thought of it that way. Like, well, thanks. That's pretty fucking cool. That's really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, cheers to that.
cheers.
That is a great fucking mentality. To speed up evolution, either in good or bad. I guess the thing that we got to do is find a way to make that process profitable. Because then, like, what we need to do is I always say this, there's maybe 10,000 human beings that make this whole world run. And the rest
Yeah.
of us are just cogs and the rest are consumers, right? So we got 10,000 amazing human beings that make this world, human species run. Another 100,000 that are cogs, and the rest are just consumers, right? How do we get that 10,000 to want to do that where it's profitable to them and it gives them some sort of power, you know? Because that you can't remove that element of the human species. How do we involve biochar? How do we involve agro farming where it becomes a profitable thing? So you'd have to have machines designed differently.
I
That'd be
think
profitable.
There's already a lot of people that is trying to go to this. Like, there is
A movement.
a movement already in place and trying to grow it, and like, yeah, we need more machines to like make it profitable and like to have. So what they did in Brazil doesn't work here because we don't have the same plants
No.
or things. So
Won't work in Canada.
in Brazil, like, they already figured out a way of like making an association, and like they all invest in a couple machines that they need, and they had different things growing and a process facility for all what they were growing. So if somebody was growing curcuma, they have a dryer, they have how to powder it and like do all the things. Cassava, the same, and like they had like different farmers specialize in some things, but also growing the forest. So it was like big trees and the specialization, and they are really success, and they make a lot of money.
See, and yeah,
But,
that's the key.
But like they had their own plants, so it's not the same in Ecuador.
No,
So now what we're trying to do in Ecuador is like
make a formula.
make something, make a not a recipe, but make a small guide to tell people.
I would
Okay.
say a recipe. This and this, this and this, this and this, and then this and this, this and this.
Yeah,
and
but
this
at the end you
Still have to try,
Right.
because if I tell you do this and then you just do it, it's not.
Right. You still got to deal with chaos.
Yeah. So it's just like I tried this and like this is what I have been getting out of this. So how you can make it on the way that you have already a guide there and like make it to
And adjust it. Yeah.
adjust it to
Yeah,
your
put a little
needs,
more cassava, put a more banana, whatever.
whatever.
but like adjust it to your needs. And like the problem is like humans always want things fast.
Really
Sometimes because you need it. Sometimes because it's just like, oh, I want this now. It's just anxiety and like
We're used to it now. Now
Yeah.
that we have the internet and now we have
Everything just happens so fast, so
Right
we're
now.
used to like right now.
so we don't have nature doesn't work like that. Nature takes time to do things. So actually if you do agroforestry and you plant like trees, like at the end of the day, a tree will take maybe 10 years to grow.
Yeah.
And then you make a succession, so you can actually harvest the tree, get the wood, and you make a succession of trees. Always happening every year. Like if you harvest trees every year, then you replant trees every year. You
Right.
have a succession of trees just growing,
A rotation.
a rotation
Yeah.
all the time. At the end of the day, you will make more profit if you plant corn for like 10 years in a row and you sell the corn.
Right.
But like the problem is like we want things fast. So
Yeah.
I'm
see,
trying to develop a method of like making money at the 3 month, 6 month.
So the
so
day
you
you're
always have
planting,
profit coming
the
in.
day you're planting,
Your trees and your plants, you're not planting. You're planting for 3 months, and you're planting for 100 years.
Okay, so basically, you're getting some profit in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, 5 years, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, 20 years, and everything is beneficial for nature.
Exactly.
And you're still feeding your family. You're getting your new truck every 5 years, and you're still, you're going on your 2 to 4 week vacation every year with your family. And
you're still making your profit.
you're still making your profit. And the better you're at that, the better you're building and growing that agro farm. That's the just keeps getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's one thing I want to do is before we finish off here is when I came back here, you were working on a crypto project, right?
Yeah.
Can you give us a sneak peek into that? Like, that's another really interesting thing because I think what you told me is you said you went to a conference in Colombia.
Yeah, so I was just in Medellin. I went to this conference called Cosmoverse. It's from a blockchain project called Cosmos.
Okay.
And one of my really good friends that did Harmony from Hawaii, the one
Okay.
that taught me about Harmony, he is not in the project anymore, and he's starting a new project called Celestia.
Celestia.
So, yeah, Celestia will work with Cosmos, and it's just like this mind-blowing new project. It's like game changer.
Can you tell us about it, or is it kind of like under wraps? Like,
I can tell.
I can tell about it. It's already there.
Okay.
But it's basically a way to explain it is. So when computers start, it was just like to have a computer, you will need a whole room.
Yeah.
A computer will be the size of like
yeah, it's
An
the
entire
size of
room.
a car,
Yeah.
size of a whale.
Yeah.
Big fucking thing.
So then we went to
smaller computers.
Hard drives and stuff.
Hard drive.
Got the efficientized, made it more efficient.
Then we went to laptops.
Yeah, they're great.
They're great.
I love
We
a
can
laptop.
travel. We can go anywhere with a laptop.
Anywhere.
But now
What?
we have VMware. We have virtual machines.
Yeah, they're. Like, I haven't gone into that, but they're fucking
So-
crazy.
I can have a server in Amazon in Seattle with my machine just working in there, virtualized.
Okay. Good. What do you mean? Like, you kind of lost me now. So you have a computer working for you?
Yeah.
What is it doing?
It's running nodes.
Oh, okay, so what
So,
are they
like-
called? They're called what the fuck are they called? It's like
It's called servers.
servers. So yeah, it's
So I have a server, but a server can have multiple virtual machines in it.
right.
So you can have a big computer with like 100, with like 1 tera of gigas
Okay.
of hard drive, like 100 gigas of memory RAM, and then you can split that to a lot of virtual machines in that computer.
In one computer.
Yeah, so in my laptop, I have a virtual machine. So I have another computer inside my laptop.
What is it doing?
It's just doing
Nodes?
Linux. So I have my computer that is in Windows, but then I have another computer inside my computer that is in Linux. So it's a different server.
Oh,
different,
links. Yeah, so that's like another code for computer talk, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So Microsoft and links is how you
Link-
build programs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Linux
Yeah.
is how you build programs. So I have Windows and I have Linux in my own computer.
Basically two different languages.
Yeah. Two
Am I-
different computers.
Two different computers.
So my laptop, I split it into my laptop, and then when I'm using Linux, I have my other computer open inside my laptop with some resources are in this one, and some resources are in this one.
Okay.
So what Celestia is going to... So there's a problem with blockchain. The problem is like how we do it that everybody can use it.
And what do you mean? So we got blockchains, and every blockchain is an individual unit, right? So Bitcoin is its own thing, Ethereum is its own thing. We have Shiba has its own thing, right? They're all separate units, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like everyone's a separate company. It's just so I'm not saying it is a company. I'm just saying so the normal
Their own
human beings,
blockchain. Yeah, you can say their own company.
they're
Yeah.
all little just own
Exactly.
things. Okay.
So when internet started, there was just a couple of servers.
Right.
Two. One server here, one server in the States, and they were connected with a line, and that was it.
Done.
Now, if you see internet, it's just cables all around the globe.
It's completely like a web,
It's like a web.
like a fucking web.
It's like a fucking web. So that's it. You're saying blockchain now is like Ethereum here, Cosmos here, Atom here, Cosmos, Atom here, and you have Ripple here,
Right.
and you have all these different chains that are there.
And servers are still instead of one main server, they're completely engulfing the world like a web.
No.
They're independent.
They're independent.
Independent, but
There is some blockchains that are working on bridging them.
right.
So I can bridge from Cosmos to Ethereum.
So
Or I can
now
bridge
they
from-
made allies almost. Like,
Yeah.
hey, we can do
Or I
trade
can
now.
bridge from Polygon to Cosmos. Or I can bridge...
Bitcoin to
Yeah.
blah blah blah.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
So there is like all these bridges happening now, and then what Celestia wants to do is make this easy for everybody. Because what's the problem? I'm Ryan.
Hi.
Okay, if Ryan wants to build a blockchain,
I want to build a WIERSMERICA blockchain.
so
It's a great blockchain.
what do you have to do to build a blockchain?
And each server-
Cosmos, Atom Atom is a hub. So the way they build the blockchain is like we're the hub, but not like we're in the middle. We're all friends. So
You're here, and everyone's around there.
no,
connected to this hub.
they didn't try to do everybody's around me. It's like I'm here and we're all the same. So nobody's around anybody.
Okay.
So what they did is Cosmos, Atom, develop a way of like people building a blockchain, super easy, with their tools that they give you.
Okay.
And then they are connected with this bridge that they build. So everybody can talk to other blockchains.
So let's. So here I am, a little blockchain. Wiersmerica, connected to the hub, and this hub has all the railways to the other hubs.
Yeah.
So they're essentially.
No. But you can connect with any hub, any other blockchain. You don't need to go through them to go there. So that's the way.
Is there a tariff fee? So it's just a highway.
It's a highway. They build a highway. So yeah, you can put it like that.
There's a tariff.
So they build highway.
They build highways to different blockchains.
A highway to different blockchains, and they give security to that highway.
Okay, so the police. Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty amazing.
They give you tools to build a blockchain super easy.
Do they have? Is there other people trying to do this, or are they kind of like the first one to do this?
They are kind of like the main ones doing this.
So they're one of the top players.
Yeah.
I don't know who. Because I'm very.
Now it's Ethereum, and I will say Cosmos.
Cosmos.
You have a couple other players there,
They're
but
trying to build the
for
highways.
me, it's up there, Ethereum, Cosmos.
Okay. So,
So-
Cosmos is like
so
an up and coming kind
Cosmos,
Do it super decentralized, and you have to. They have governance, so every decision you get a vote. Oh, we want to do this. So everybody that has some atom staking can vote for that decision.
thing. So you own one atom, you can say, "Hey, I don't." So you have 10,000 atoms, you have 10,000 votes.
no, you have one.
You have one vote.
Yeah.
So you have one atom, you have a vote.
Yeah.
You have 10,000, you have a vote.
Yeah.
And you can say, "Hey, I like the progress of this place," or not.
Yeah, I
Vote
vote.
yes for this, or I vote no for
And
this.
this is back to the honesty thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So they create a really good governance way, and they create this huge highway. So every blockchain that is built on their platform is connected, and they build this super easy toolkit so people can build a blockchain. But if I'm Sebastian and I want to build a blockchain,
Okay, you're Sebastian. You want to build a blockchain.
so I can use the toolkit. I can build a blockchain. But at the end, I need to do something that is called consensus. So a consensus is a set of validators that are saying if a transaction is true or false.
Okay.
So to build that consensus, it takes a lot of money, and it takes a lot of power to hey Ryan, you wanna run a node for me to make consensus for my blockchain?
Okay, I want to
And
do that.
you need to know trusted people to do that,
to make proper notes
to make proper nodes.
because you need to be honest.
You can be dishonest, but to run a node, you have to put money into your node. And if you do something illegal, then they will cut out your money.
Okay, yeah, because you're a massive staker then.
Yeah.
And is that what your project is? Becoming a massive staker?
No,
So what Celestia is trying to do is just make it as easy to do a blockchain as easy to run a virtual machine in a computer. So you won't need to do consensus anymore. They will be in charge of all the consensus. They will have the nodes, they will have the validators running, and you just have to create your blockchain on top of them. And they will make all.
Is that more centralized or is it still decentralized?
That's still decentralized.
Gotcha.
So now, Ecuador can have a blockchain on top of them, or any company can have a blockchain on top of them, and they will be ensuring that all the transactions that happens there are secure, and they will give you the data availability, and they will give you the data that all the transactions are happening here
Okay.
are true.
What can you do with that then? So let's say you're Ecuador or a company, you build your own blockchain. Can you pay people in your own blockchain currency, or is that kind of
No,
like a vision of what you see happening?
So
Or?
you like foreign, you have like a big problem here in Ecuador. It's just like how I make sure my land is under my name or no.
That's a fucking good question. Like the only way is I do is because I pay taxes, and my name's on the tax slip. Thank fucking God.
Still,
But you don't know if next year that you come back, it's still there.
It should be right.
Who knows?
I don't like the sound of that.
It's just in a database that they can change whenever they want.
They can do what?
They can change that.
The government?
information.
I guess they could. Yeah,
Yeah, why
the
not?
military could come and take it, couldn't they?
They can just go and pay them somebody and change that.
I wouldn't like that.
I'm not saying that's going to happen to you,
You're
but
making me worried now.
like
It's things that can happen. I'm just going to like the last of the things that can happen. But
Shouldn't think so.
that usually happens to people that buy a piece of land and they just leave it there for like 30 years.
Can they change your name?
And nobody goes and see it.
Really?
So somebody's there and they can be like, oh, this is just there. So I will like try to change the name of the fake firm and like they go to lawyers and like,
Fucking cats.
but if you have all that information in blockchain,
It's there forever.
it's there forever and there is nothing that you can do to change it because if you try to change it, it will be like, hey, this is bad. This is not here. If that
You're
person
being deceptive.
if that person doesn't sign in and says that he's selling this piece of land, I cannot change this name. But if you have that in a normal database, that can happen.
This is what fascinates me about the blockchain. Is because it can be so honest and so decisive. Can it be used for evil? Can the government use it for more control? Is there ways to prevent the government from ever?
well,
Like this is like I think one of those things. So this is such a new technology. It's like the internet when it started, like online buying. The thing is, I think that so many people are concerned about is the fucking. If the government gets their paws on this and the masses participate in it, they try to ban the decentralized part of it, we're going to deal with serious consequences because they're going to have complete control over everything, every transaction, every dollar spent, and they're going to know everything you do. And if they want to shut you down, they can. It's quite a terrifying thing, isn't it?
it is.
Do you think that's something that could happen, or do you think there's always going to be that balance where it's just like, hey, the government's getting too crazy, we can always rely to a decentralized version where the government can't destroy?
I still think you can rely on the centralized way that government
Right.
can destroy. But even though in that decentralization, I still feel there will be like a little centralization maybe. I'm still like doubting about it. I have my doubts, but
Because the human nature likes to
it's
control.
just human nature that likes
Yeah.
to control. But I still think if you have like a good tokenomics and governance, and like everybody votes and make the decisions of what is going to happen,
Right.
then you have like
Where it starts getting crazy.
so the voting system works super good. If they want to change something, they have to ask what they want to change, and like everybody can vote and make their decision. Perfect. I want to vote yes or no on this decision. And in the election systems in Ecuador, I can vote for a president, but I don't know if
If it's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
It was just
So
fucking
then
bullshit.
you can use blockchain for like changing the election system. So
I
you
don't
can
even
use
know
blockchain.
Canada's a real thing either. Like,
Yeah. We don't know.
we don't. Now, you're doing good things. You own your own time. What is some things you think people could do that, like baby steps that could improve their life? Like, let's say if you're gonna start at ground zero, what would be some baby steps where, hey, you want to increase quality of life, you want a little bit more time. What would you do? What would you give advice to someone who wants to own their more time?
I think one of the most important things It's meditation.
Meditation.
Start when you have a routine and you're all days doing the same thing.
Yeah, for like 6 months. It's incredible.
For like a whole year, because
Year.
usually vacations are just 1 month.
Right.
It's just like you're in your same routine every day, and your body just starts doing the same thing every day. So
You get into
You-
flow.
you get into that flow and that routine that it won't change, because it's already your body. You are teaching your body to like do exactly the same thing every day. So your body just adapts to that.
Right.
So I feel if you start meditating at least like 10 minutes a day, then you will make a small change in your body that your body will be like, hold on, what is going on here?
What changed?
What is changing in me? So I feel like a small meditation, you're gonna start with 10 minutes and then with an hour, and like that will bring a small change in your routine. And then just
First step.
and then just in that meditation start attracting what you actually want.
And I 100% agree, because until I got the fuck away from everybody and was alone and meditated, that's when I started asking the question, like, what is the purpose? And you're just like, hey man, what do I like to do?
Yeah.
And you can whittle them down. It's been the same thing for about 7 years, and it's 7 things. But the same thing since I was a child. I mean, and about 7 things, and it's just the same thing. And it's just nothing's changed. You're like, okay, this is clearly what I got to direct my attention into. And really, it did start with meditation and being alone.
Exactly.
That is a fucking awesome thing. The last question is, which I'm excited about, what are your short-term future goals and your long-term future goals? So let's say, what are your goals in the next year? What are your goals in the next 10 years?
So now I'm working on a couple of really cool projects.
Okay.
Like I'm doing the farm. It's one that is
Okay.
every day now.
You got
I'm working.
agro farming, biochar.
Yeah, I have the biochar, and I'm working in a really nice project with my brother. He just finished studying food engineering.
Okay.
And we're trying to produce food from like black soldier flies larvae for
Okay.
feeding shrimps and feeding fishes, and it's just like a huge thing that is coming into the world now, and I felt it's like a good cycle, because like with the shrimp garbage
Okay.
and
The shit.
with the shit, all that is thrown from the shrimps and like from making beer.
Really?
So we're feeding the swarms with this that is garbage,
Okay.
and then we're producing these larvae that we are processing it and making them food to feed the shrimps,
So you're doing the circle of life, basically.
and then we're getting all this organic matter that the larvae produce while they eat all this, and we use that as nutrients for our farm, or whatever organic farm that wants to buy this.
Agro farming.
Agro farming that wants to buy all these compost, and we're producing food for the shrimps. So we're doing a closed loop
You're doing
cycle
synergy.
of no wasting.
That is fucking badass.
So I'm working on that project that is pretty epic, and that's one of the things that I'm working on.
Man, I gotta talk to your brother here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds bad. So basically, you're making protein-filled food.
Yeah.
To feed shrimp
Shrimps.
at shrimp farms
Uh-huh.
that feed millions of people.
Yeah.
The waste that is produced out of both sides come back to your farm that basically either feed the larva, the protein, or your agro farm, which is the jungle with your trees that produce food, the best food, full of vitamins and nutrition and not artificial
Chemics.
chemical food, true, proper food.
Yeah.
So you're making a full loop. So like, and it's no, it's so fucking cool. It's like we're tiny fish. You're like a tiny fish in a pond, but this is just one fish doing like a couple positive things, and it's gonna have such a. It's gonna be something.
Yeah.
Let's say 0.001, and that's just one person.
Yeah.
Let's just say 0.1, and if you have 10,000 people just doing 0.1, and then another million doing 0.1, and another 100 million doing 0.1, just a little step. What do you like? The amazingness that we could produce. So it's basically, we've got to just make new systems. We need to make new systems that make proper loops.
Yeah.
Because what we do with ammonia is we take chemicals out of something that's not renewable, boom, put it in the ground, boom.
We just need to produce a new economic,
a new nature
a new
economic,
nature economic, friendly with nature economic system.
And you're, honestly, that's the most badass thing I think about you is because you're making this cycle and you're finding the whole loop.
Yeah.
You're filling in it, and then like clearly it's not a perfect loop, but I mean you refine it for the next 5 years or 10 years. You're gonna have a pretty good fucking loop, man.
Yeah.
Right? Because how long have you been into this? Like 2 years?
Yeah.
2 years. So you think another like look where you gone in probably the first year to the second year. Think of it in 2 more years. How much more fucking better of a loop we're gonna have here.
That's the idea.
Yeah. But there is a lot of things that it needs to be improved.
That's so much
And
improvement.
like, one of them was like payment system.
Yeah.
Payment method. So I invest in a friend. He's from the States, but he has been living in Vilcabamba.
Yeah.
And he starts doing like a payment method,
Really?
and it's going really good.
Fucking
And-
right. What is it called?
It's called Sensec.
Sensei.
Yeah.
It's coming up in the next month,
Okay.
and it's going to improve in like payment methods. Like,
Yeah, because you're a
But,
cash-based system,
yeah.
which I
And like
don't
a lot
mind
of
and I
people,
do mind.
a lot of people has no bank accounts because of that, so they just survive because banks don't let them get a bank account.
Because of certain because
So
they might not have
if
their
there's an
address.
app that they can store their money and have it there and like make savings and like maybe
Right.
in a future time like they can like try to do investments in
Or just
crypto
have
or-
$100 just to pay people, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Where like even if they lose $100, it's like not. Let's say $10. It's not the end of the world for them.
Because you got to build that trust. That's the fucking.
that's a trust that's
That's
the
trust.
big problem like
in Ecuador,
people
there's no
here in
trust.
Ecuador has get like super bad trusting people with these ideas because
You guys
they
got
have-
fucked.
get fucked.
You guys got fucked so hard, man.
A lot of times.
A lot
so
of times.
it's difficult. So they just put this new law that was in the Asamblea Nacional. And like my friend went on talking to the Asamblea and like expressed why we need these new technologies to like actually improve our
Man,
monetary system.
I think that's what like if anyone has like a super creative mind that just doesn't want to deal with hurdles, this is a place that there's so much improvement you can build upon here, and there's so like you don't need a permit. You don't need a fucking permit. There's no permits. There's no air ducts you got to do. If you want to do like a farm, an agro farm, you don't have to talk to the government and say, "Hey, I'm gonna do an agro farm." You just do a fucking agro farm.
Yeah.
If you want to improve on how to make shrimp gain more weight with certain larva protein, then you fucking just do that because there's not someone saying, "Hey, you gotta go through these certain things." No.
No. But in that point, because the shrimps are exported to the U.S. or to Europe, so
Oh,
You actually get
do.
all those regimens and
right.
So if there's things that are going to get out of Ecuador, like you have to follow all these other regulations.
so actually
But before that, you can still kind of play with, though, right?
yeah before if it's
Or you can play with it.
And then you can kind of thing it, and then you can talk to them and say, "Hey, how do I narrow this down to get into bigger?" Okay, okay, still sweet though, but you still can experiment
our
uninterrupted.
regulation is way less than when you're in the States and in Canada, and that's one of the things. The first time I was in the States for like 6 months, and
Yeah.
walk out of the border in Mexico, I was like, oh wow, I feel like I was being watching. Somebody was watching me the whole
The
time.
whole fucking time.
Like it feels like a big bag of stones that I just left in the border. I was like,
Man, that's
Okay.
exactly what's going on with me.
okay, now I'm like in Mexico, like
Yeah, I don't have
I
to
feel
worry.
way lighter.
Man.
I don't have to worry about
The monkey's off, man. Because when
Right.
I'm in Canada, you fucking put the nail in the head. Like, I come in here and it's just like, I don't understand. Like, hey, Canada's got a lot of great things. You know, it's
but
clean.
also, yeah, like you have.
You know,
There's a lot of rules, and I feel rules is what things at the end.
that's
it
how you make
works.
good systems.
Okay, that's how you make good systems.
But
So,
you lose. Everything has its
you
balance.
lose freedom. It's
You
it's
lose
a balance. I
It's-
think.
you lose.
I think life is just about a balance. At the end, everything is just about a balance.
Okay, that's fucking awesome. And then, right, so that's the short-term goal, the larvae.
The larvas, and then I'm
What's the
working on.
long-term?
I'm working on Celestia also. Like I
10-year
feel-
plan, though. 10-year. What do you? If you're gonna say you look in the mirror in 10 years, and the mirror
years.
showed Seabass in 10 years.
Wow,
what
that's
are you
a good
doing?
Question.
No, because like everyone, I have like a vision of what I want to accomplish. But we're talking about you. 10 years. I'll give you 5. Fuck you. I'll give you 5 years. What do you see, Seabass in 5 years?
Well, one of my plans now is just like make the farm going, and then maybe I have the Italian passport, so I was thinking of going to Europe for
Okay.
some time.
To do what? Obviously, you have a mission. You just don't go place without a mission. I know this because I don't go to place without a mission.
Actually, just to go check it now.
No. Get fucked. There's always a reason, motherfucker. There's always a reason. Because you go to Russia to check it out. Why Italy?
No, Italy. I want to go to Portugal.
Portugal. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a reason.
But
Portugal?
Portugal has a lot of projects doing like agriculture farming.
Okay.
It's a lot of good waves around, and like
So waves in the farming that
it's
you're
like
most
a
passionate about.
crypto paradise.
Is it?
Yeah.
Really?
So Portugal is a crypto paradise, so there's like a lot of good things that I have been watching. And
So it's kind of like a hub for.
I have
that.
a lot of
You got 3 major interests in a meets all of
can
them.
match a lot of them.
Okay.
So
So you're gonna make friends. You're gonna surf some badass waves, and you're going to check out some farms.
and keep doing crypto
Keep doing crypto.
and don't get taxed super bad. Because in Ecuador I don't get taxed super bad, and then
It's wonderful.
if I go to Portugal, like it's a main country, it's like first world country, and like I will not get like taxed super bad after I go to the States
Or Canada. You go to
or
Canada.
Canada.
40%, man.
So
Enjoy that.
I think Portugal is a good option.
Okay. So that's, and then the 5-year plan, like, obviously you have, your brain's been going. What's the mission? Is it agro farming? Is it larva? Is it crypto? Like,
I think those 3 pillars are there.
3 pillars, okay. So that's what you want to, and obviously surfing as a 4th.
Surfing.
As long as those things are around a beach, you're good to go.
Yeah.
And that's
As
where
long
you-
as those 3 things are out there, and it's a beach club.
fucking right. Well, Sebass, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks, bro.
You're fucking badass.
You too.
Badass. Okay.